Welcome to Divorce with a Twist, Episode 2. I'm your host, Shandy Arwalis, certified life coach and divorce attorney. When you are going through divorce, it is hard to make sense of things. You feel like everything is falling apart, and figuratively, that may be. As a side note though, I want to offer you, when things feel like they're falling apart, sometimes they may actually be falling into place. I thought of something the other day, and just contemplating it was pretty mind-blowing. What would divorce be like without fear? How different would that be? When relationships end, even when it is mutual, there's often fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear that you are or are not doing the right thing. But change that dynamic to a relationship ending that wasn't mutual. The person who is left is often drowning in fear. Fear that they'll never be loved again, fear that they're not good enough, fear that they'll be alone forever. Add children to the equation, you add even more fear and guilt. Will my kids be messed up? My kids don't deserve this. I'm afraid I'll lose my kids. Add decades being together, fears about how you will function, who you will be, who you are without your spouse. Add financial concerns, moving out of your home, changing jobs or re-entering the workforce. You get the idea. Fears all day long. But what if you could divorce without fear? What would you focus on? How different would that be? I just ran across an interesting study by AVO, a consumer information website. I'll leave the link in the description below. This study was conducted in May of 2016 and found that 73% of women report having no regret over being divorced. I find this number to be in line with the women that I work with. Definitely over half say they have no regret, that they would not go back to their ex or back to the marriage, but practically 100% report experiencing fear. Fear that keeps them stuck. Generally, most people feel like shit when they go through divorce. They lose their sense of identity and purpose. They feel lost and overwhelmed. The divorce comes and goes. There may be some relief and excitement, but more often than not, you may still feel like something is just missing. You may still be upset about aspects of your divorce or your past relationship, issues that feel unresolved. Why? If you continue to be upset, it's because you are telling yourself a story that is keeping you stuck. You are divorced. You have a second chance, an opportunity to get out there and make a difference in your own world or in the world or whatever it is you want to do. And if you haven't thought about what you want to do, I absolutely challenge you to focus forward and not on the past and create whatever it is you want in this life. If something is missing and you want more, how do you get there? How do you get rid of the fear and get to fabulous? I can tell you, to overcome the fear, you must go through it. Think about the thoughts that keep you up at night, the thoughts that ruminate in your mind day after day. What exactly are you afraid of? What fears are you still carrying from your divorce? I'm going to give you 3 pointers that will help you fight this lingering fear. If you can do any or all of these, I promise you, you are going to be light years ahead of where you are now. Okay, first, stop fighting with reality. Easier said than done, I know, but you may not even be aware of how much you are doing this. This stems from a fear of loss of control. You'll have thoughts like, I can't believe this is happening. It isn't fair. My ex should have, would have, could have done things differently. It's the if only thoughts. If only he wouldn't have cheated. If only I would have left sooner. If only I wouldn't have messed up. Whatever it is, these kind of thoughts will keep you stuck and spinning. When we wrestle with reality, it compounds our pain. So what can we do differently? Accepting what is instead of arguing with what should be will catapult you forward, and you will start to feel better. Acknowledge whatever is happening. Your circumstances have changed, and you don't have to like it. You can feel wronged or cheated, but by accepting that it is happening, you will stop adding to it by fighting it and resisting it. Now, you're not saying that it should have happened or that you want it to be happening, but simply that it is happening or that it happened, whatever it may be. Okay, the second pointer. Lose your superhuman approach to healing. I have to stay strong. Even though you're hanging on by a thread, but you're determined to not lose it and to keep it all together. You worry about how you are doing in comparison to your ex. You don't want to show any weakness. Newsflash, negative emotions are not a weakness, but so many of us attempt to suppress them, resist them, and fight them off. Think about how you were taught emotions as a child. Were you allowed to express them? Were your feelings an inconvenience? Were you told things like, don't cry? If you're going to cry, go to your room. Or, I don't want to hear it. It's no wonder so many of us bottle them up. But this does not help us. We end up lashing out at others, and worse, we take it out on ourselves. Feeling and expressing your emotions is key to moving on from your divorce. Give yourself the permission to do this. So what can we do differently? Decide that feelings are not a problem. No feeling is a problem. As humans, we have a range of emotions, and divorce is a time where you're likely going to experience all of them. Sadness, fear, guilt, shame, anger, grief, overwhelm, excitement, relief, loneliness, and insecurity. Reflect on each feeling. Allow the feelings to be present. Sit with them and be willing to feel them. What does each emotion feel like? You can think, I don't want to be feeling this, but this is where I am. Let it in. Allow the feeling to be there and allow it to pass through you. This can take minutes, hours, or even weeks. Dedicate a time and a place to get in touch with yourself and feel your negative emotions. Do this daily. Check in with yourself. If you fear going down the rabbit hole of grief or anger because you're scared as hell that you're not going to come out of it, do it anyway. You are capable of handling any feeling that a human can experience. And the only way out of this stage is through it. You cannot take a shortcut. Negative feelings are just feelings. Having them does not mean that anything has gone wrong. Now, the third pointer I want to give to you to combat your fear is don't believe everything you think. The first time I ran across this saying, it really flipped my brain. I literally read it over and over again. Don't believe everything you think. I mean, I know I can have crazy thoughts that are not true. We're free to think literally anything we want. But for the most part, didn't I believe what I thought? I don't know that I ever thought about it. Of course, just thinking something doesn't make it true, but our repeated thoughts do become our beliefs. What we think becomes our inner voice, which is often our inner critic, and if untrained, can lead us away from living the life that we want. We often forget or we don't know that we can choose our thoughts and train our brain to think more positive thoughts that serve us. Thinking better thoughts will make us feel better. Feeling better will change the way we show up, and the way we show up will ultimately lead to us living our best life or not. After divorce, we are grappling with so much fear and self-doubt. This is normal. But when we believe what we think, those negative thoughts will have a ripple effect on our self-esteem and in our life. So what can we do differently? Know that you are not your thoughts. Be on to yourself. Pay attention to what you're thinking. The best way to do this is write your thoughts out. I'm a huge fan of journaling. Do a brain dump, a thought download, whatever you call it, just get it out of your head. Rage on the page for 5 minutes in the morning. Try doing another 5 minutes at night before you go to bed. You may be amazed at some of the thoughts that came out that you weren't even aware of. Once you become aware of your thoughts, you can work on the thoughts that are not serving you and change them. You are worth the work. I hope you will try one or all of these. Stop fighting with reality. Lose your superhuman approach to healing and feel your feelings. And last, don't believe everything you think. All right, that's what I have for you this week. Wherever you are and whatever's going on, take care. If you like what you hear and want to create a future you can truly get excited about, I invite you to join my Direction After Divorce coaching program. I'll help you figure out what's holding you back and give you the tools and support you need so you can move forward with confidence. Go to directionafterdivorce.com for details.